I'm Pastor Paul Holt with the Bible Factor Update. The audacity of arrogance and the fall brought about by pride. You probably never thought, and I'm sure Mrs. Hillary Clinton never thought, that she would be caught in the middle of the sexting scandal of Anthony Wiener. Well, it turns out that her chief aide, Huma Aberdeen, who's married or is separated from Anthony Wiener, well, turns out that she was receiving a whole lot of emails, 650,000 emails, according to some reports, from the, unauthorized and, quite frankly, illegal email server that Mrs. Clinton kept to keep a lot of her correspondence off the official books. She was doing this because she was setting up many arrangements between the people that she was reaching agreements with as Secretary of State. Agreements that weren't for the United States, but for herself. And it turns out that Mr. Anthony Wiener, the former congressman and New York mayoral candidate, he's accused of sexting yet another young lady, but this time she's a minor. And so the FBI was digging a little deeper, and they confiscated a laptop, and they confiscated many other devices. Now keep in mind that Mrs. Clinton's aide, Huma Aberdeen, who's married to Anthony Wiener, had testified under oath that she kept no electronic devices that would keep emails that were received or sent to Mrs. Clinton through her private email server. She had kept none of these things, that there were no lingering electronic devices. And yet, there's this laptop that had 650,000 emails. Now, we don't know what's on those emails yet, but it was enough that it got the director of the FBI, James Comey, a little worked up. And he testified before Congress last Friday to say that, there was more coming. And so the subpoenas officially arrived this weekend to allow the FBI to dig a little deeper into the emails found on Anthony Wiener's computer. I'm sure that Mrs. Aberdeen and Mrs. Clinton, neither one suspected that Anthony Wiener had kept all of these emails and had not destroyed them. But see, that's part of the problem. When they're not on the official network of the United States government and you're using what you use for official correspondence in your top secret government job, and you're using that for personal communication, who knows what you've shared? Who knows who's kept a copy? The fact is that they weren't following any type of serious protocol, just like Mrs. Clinton's senior staffer, John Podesta, who had thousands of emails confiscated by WikiLeaks because he didn't keep proper security using his Gmail account. He fell for a phishing email that allowed them to hack into his account. Now, I would suggest that anybody who uses any type of email account change your password from time to time. Go through the necessary steps of setting up double confirmations for your passwords and your security. That's not what Mrs. Clinton did. That's not what she does. She thought she was clever and she could hide her communications from the government and from the people. But she wasn't clever enough to set up her system correctly. Not before and not since. And so, she may have compromised national security. We don't know yet. Anthony Wiener was quite arrogant in how he dealt with his opposition while he was a representative from the state of New York. And his arrogance, his pride, brought about a fall. And that's the scripture that I want to share with you. Proverbs 16, verse 18, where it says, of course, pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. So a little humility goes a long way. And the fact is, if we're honest about the mistakes that we've made, we might be able to avoid the damage that comes from arrogance. I'm Pastor Paul Holt with a Bible Factor Update. You can find me at thebiblefactor.com. Thanks again for watching. I hope this program is a blessing. And once again, I would ask that you'd leave any comments below. And also, click thumbs up if you like it, or thumbs down if you don't. But most importantly, would you consider subscribing? Click on the button below.